All right, let's dive into the world of prosperity with Unity Minister Martha Guidici. You've given me a lot of her material, and I'm really intrigued by her blend of spirituality and practical advice. Like, how do those two things work together,
Yeah, it's refreshing, isn't it? She really tackles prosperity head on,
She does.
which can, let's be honest, feel a little taboo in spiritual circles.
Totally. It's almost like she's giving us permission to not only desire prosperity, but to expect it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not afraid to use the word prosperity, which, as she points out, some people are uneasy about. What do you think that is?
Well, she suggests that it's not really the money itself that makes people uncomfortable. It's more about the baggage we carry around it, those ingrained negative feelings about money. That's what creates the blockages.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And she even suggests we sing money, money, money with genuine joy. That's quite a mental shift.
It is. It's about like shifting that mindset from scarcity to one of abundance, you know? She believes that money is really just a tool, neutral. It's not good or bad. It's how we view it, how we use it that really matters.
I like that. She's encouraging us to really examine our own beliefs around money.
Mm.
Reminds me of that Henry Ford quote. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Our thoughts really do shape our experiences.
Absolutely. And she takes this concept even further, bringing in the superconscious mind.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. What is the superconscious and how does it connect to prosperity?
So think of your superconscious mind as like a deeper level of awareness. You know, you can often access it through meditation or prayer. And Guidici believes it's the seat of our true power, this wellspring of creativity and wisdom.
So it's not just about, like, positive thinking. It's about tapping into something much deeper.
Exactly. She calls this level of consciousness our inner prosperity genius.
Oh, I like that.
Right. And she actually shares a story from her own life, a challenging situation at work. She had this colleague who was, well, creating chaos, basically.
I've been there. What happened?
So nothing she tried seemed to work, right? Then she starts affirming, I am a spiritual genius, and everything I need to know is revealed to me, through me, from within me.
Okay, she's affirming this and then...
Out of the blue, totally unexpected, the head engineer calls her up, wants to discuss their problem, referring to this chaotic colleague.
Oh, wow.
Right. And get this, within 2 weeks, the whole situation is resolved peacefully.
She attributes this resolution to tapping into her superconscious mind.
Exactly. It wasn't just luck. It was her shifting her mindset, this trust in her own inner wisdom, that connection to something bigger. And that shift just opened the door for a solution.
Wow. That's a powerful example of, like, how our inner state can really impact our external reality. But how do we actually do that? How do we access that inner genius and get those results in our own lives?
That's where Giudici's Fanny Faithfull's fantastic formula comes in. It's a 7-step process, and it's surprisingly practical for manifesting prosperity.
Okay, I'm ready. What's the first step to unlock our inner prosperity genius?
Step 1 is deceptively simple. Recognize and acknowledge your need. Just be honest with yourself about what you want, no judgment.
She's saying we need to get clear on our desires. Why is that so important?
Because a lot of times we won't even admit what we want, even to ourselves. We're afraid to want.
Oh, interesting.
We think it's not very spiritual, or that we're not doing spirituality right if we have needs and desires.
So it's about, like, accepting our humanness. Our needs are part of that.
Yeah. And it's about recognizing that those needs and desires, they're actually opportunities for spirit to work.
Okay, I like that. So once we know what we want, what's next?
Step 2 is believing that the fulfillment of your desire already exists.
So it's not enough to just want it. We have to believe we can have it.
Yes. Guidici emphasizes that there's an unlimited supply of everything. Money, love, opportunities, it's already out there, just waiting for us to align with it.
It's like the law of attraction, right? If you focus on lack, you just attract more lack. But if you focus on abundance, you open yourself to receiving it.
Exactly. And she actually takes it a step further in step 3. Be open to receiving from known and unknown sources.
Unknown sources. Okay, now I'm really intrigued. What does that mean?
It means we got to be open to possibilities we can't even imagine. We might have an idea about how we want our good to show up, but the universe often has something way better in store.
So it's about releasing control, trusting that the universe, or a higher power, can deliver our good in ways we might not expect.
Exactly. Let go of that limited thinking and embrace the infinite possibilities. Those that are beyond what we can see right now, you know?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But is it really that easy to believe something wonderful will just appear?
It can be hard, but she tells this great story. She got an unexpected check in the mail, a pretty significant amount, from a woman in Dover, Indiana.
Dover, Indiana. Had she even been there?
Never. She didn't even know anyone from Dover.
Okay, now that's an unknown source, so what happened?
Well, it turns out, months earlier, Guidici had been kind to this woman's nieces and nephews, just a small act. And this check, it was like a gesture of gratitude, but the timing, the amount, totally out of the blue.
Yeah, talk about good karma.
Yeah,
But it's more than karma, right? It's about aligning yourself with abundance and then being open to however it shows up.
Exactly. The universe works in mysterious and often very generous ways.
Love it. Okay, so we identified our desire, we believe it's possible, and we're open to receiving it. What's next?
Step 4 is where we really claim our good. Guidici says, if the fulfillment is moving toward you, accept it.
Hold on, so it's not enough to, like, passively hope for it? We have to actually accept that it's already on its way.
Yes, it's about embodying the feeling of already having received it even before it shows up in our physical reality.
So embracing that reality, even if we can't see it yet, that's a big mental shift.
Right. And she emphasizes that nothing can stop it from manifesting once we set that intention in motion.
Okay, that's encouraging to hear. But do we just sit around and wait for it to arrive?
That's where step 5 comes in. Taking those necessary steps to prepare for your desire.
Meeting the universe halfway.
Yes. We can't just expect miracles to fall into our lap.
Right.
We have to align our actions with our beliefs.
This reminds me of what she said about preparing for a trip around the world. You wouldn't just show up at the airport with nothing, no bags or anything, and expect to be whisked away on this magical adventure.
Exactly. You get your passport ready, pack your bags, make sure you're prepared for the journey.
So we need to prepare for our desires in the same way. We act as if it's already happening.
Exactly. She even tells a story about this friend of hers in New York City, always has her suitcase packed, even when she doesn't have a trip booked.
Really?
Yeah. She visualizes herself traveling to all these amazing places.
And I bet she manifests those trips.
She does. People are constantly inviting her on adventures.
That's amazing. So it's about embodying the energy of what we want, even before it's real.
Exactly. It shows the universe you're serious.
It's putting action behind your intention. This is great. I love how practical all this is. What's next?
And it gets even better. Step 6 is all about gratitude.
Gratitude, one of my favorite topics. How does it fit into all of this?
Well, Guidici says we don't have to wait to give thanks. We can express gratitude in advance for the good we want, even before we see it.
That makes sense, like cultivating that feeling of gratitude for what's on its way, even if it's not here yet.
Exactly. And she reminds us that Jesus himself taught us about this. He didn't wait for Lazarus to rise from the dead to give thanks. He did it before the miracle.
That's right. He said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. Gratitude isn't just about acknowledging what we have. It's about having faith in the unseen, claiming it before it's here.
Precisely. And that kind of gratitude shifts us from a place of, like, lack and longing to peace and expectancy.
Trusting that the universe has our back. Okay, we've got 6 steps. Clarify your desire, believe it's possible, be open to receiving it, claim it, prepare for it, and be grateful in advance. That's quite a process. What's the final step?
Surrender.
Surrender. That could be a tough one. What does she mean by that in this context?
Letting go of how it will happen. Trust in divine timing. Guidici says that our human vision, it's limited, but the universe, limitless.
So we might think we know how we want things to happen, but maybe the universe has a better plan.
Exactly. And sometimes letting go of our plan is the only way that bigger, better plan appears. She uses this analogy of the 7th day of creation, the day of rest.
Okay, I like that. How does that relate to surrender?
Well, it's after we've done our part, right?
Yeah.
We set our intention, took action, expressed gratitude, then we rest. Let the universe do its part, rest in knowing that we did our part, and now it's up to something bigger.
Trusting we're supported, even when we don't have the answers or see the path clearly.
Yes. Guidici actually shares a story about this. She was on vacation and had an unexpected car expense come up.
Uh-oh.
It wasn't a huge expense, but enough to mess up her budget.
Oh, no. What did she do?
So instead of freaking out, she decides to practice what she preaches, right? She starts affirming that the money will be returned to her, pressed down, shaken together, and running over.
This is bold affirmation. Did it work?
Oh, yeah. She gets home from her trip and finds a check in the mail from a cousin who just felt compelled to send her a gift. Yes. And guess what? The check was more than enough to cover the car expenses.
The universe providing?
Right. It's like those little synchronicities, those things that feel like coincidences. They're often signs that we're on the right track. The universe is conspiring to help us out.
I love that. Hearing you describe that story, it reminded me Giudici's concept of prosperity. It's not just about money, it's about abundance in all areas of life, right?
Oh, absolutely. She's very clear about that. True prosperity is peace of mind, good relationships, good health, all the stuff that makes for a really fulfilling life.
That makes a lot of sense. Like if we're constantly stressed out, how can we attract those positive experiences even if we want them?
Exactly. Our inner state is huge. We have to cultivate that peace, joy, and abundance on the inside first, and then those qualities can show up on the outside. That's what's so great about what she teaches. She's giving us real tools to work with.
Yeah, it's like a roadmap for aligning ourselves with abundance, right?
Mhm.
But it's not passive. We have to be deliberate. Self-reflection and willingness to shift our perspective, all that.
You got it. It's about being active in how our lives unfold, trusting that inner wisdom, and then allowing ourselves to receive the abundance that is our birthright.
I love that. It's so empowering. As you were walking me through all of this, I kept thinking about something Giudici mentioned, and she actually got this formula as an assignment.
Oh, that's right, from James Dillett Freeman, who was the head of Silent Unity.
Yes. He asked all the student ministers to write down their own prosperity formulas because he believed that, and I love this quote, every one of you is practicing prosperity, and you unconsciously have a formula in your mind that works for you. Isn't that fascinating?
It really is. It makes you think we all have our own paths to abundance, our own inner wisdom, just waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely. That's so true. So as we start to wrap up our deep dive today, I'm really curious, what's resonating with you most from all of this? What's feeling really impactful for you?
For me, it's those personal stories Giudici tells. That's what really brings these principles to life.
I agree. It feels like she's right here, sharing over a cup of coffee.
Exactly. And that one about getting that check totally out of the blue from Dover, Indiana, a place she'd never even been, that one really stuck with me.
It's such a good point. We never know how or when our good will show up.
Right. And from who? It really highlights, don't limit the possibilities. Be open.
Yes. And that story about her friend who keeps her suitcase packed, even without a trip planned, that one got me thinking too.
Oh, me too. It's so simple, but so powerful. When we align our actions with what we want, our energy shifts. We can attract those experiences.
Embodying the reality before we see it.
Yes. Giudici's teachings are so empowering because she's not just talking about these big ideas. She gives us actual tools to use to create a better life.
Completely agree. Like a wise friend reminding us we have the power to create what we want.
Yes. And the fact that she got this formula as an assignment, not just something she invented, it makes me think maybe we all have a prosperity formula inside us,
Yeah.
just waiting to be discovered.
That is such a cool thought. Our own personal ones, shaped by our experiences, our own connection.
Right. It's powerful. But it makes you wonder, how do we actually access that wisdom? What are the steps that will work for each of us?
That is the question, isn't it? The million-dollar question. I don't think there's one right answer, but maybe it starts with creating some space,
Yeah.
for reflection, for looking inward.
Definitely. Like meditation or journaling, even just being out in nature, quiet the noise so we can actually hear that inner voice. That's where the wisdom is.
I love that. It's about that intuition, right? That knowing, even when things don't make sense logically.
It is. It's learning to trust those little nudges, those aha moments that can come out of nowhere.
And paying attention to what lights us up,
Yeah.
what brings us joy.
Yes. When we connect with that joy, our passions, our purpose, it's like this energy unlocks. Everything flows from there.
Totally. When we're in alignment with ourselves, the right people show up, the resources, the opportunities, everything just clicks.
Exactly. And as we change and grow on our spiritual path, those formulas, they'll probably change too, right? What works now might be different later.
That's a good point. It takes the pressure off, like we need to have it all figured out right now.
Exactly. It's a journey, not a destination.
I like that. A reminder to enjoy the ride, embrace the unknown, and trust we're being guided, even when it's a little bumpy.
Love that. Life is an adventure. Be curious, be open, be ready for the unexpected.
Yes. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Martha Guidici's teachings on prosperity, what's the one thing you really want our listener to take away?
I hope they feel empowered, to create their own version of prosperity, whatever that looks like. She gives us this amazing starting point, but the real magic is when we take it and personalize it.
That's so key. Not about following blindly, but connecting with our own wisdom, our own unique path.
Exactly. And more than anything, I hope they walk away with a sense of hope. Like, no matter what's going on right now, we have the power to change our perspective, to align with abundance, to create a life full of joy, purpose, and yes, even money, money, money.
Yes. And don't forget to sing it with feeling.
Yes. Embrace that energy. Let it flow into everything you do.
I love it. This has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with me.
Thank you. This was fun.
And to you, listening, we hope you loved this deep dive into Martha Guidici's teachings. Remember, your journey is yours alone. Trust yourself and never stop believing in what's possible. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those good vibes flowing.
It's like those little whispers, try this or pay attention to that. We got to learn to listen to those.
Yeah, they're easy to miss. I love that. So we're really talking about more than just money here, aren't we?
Oh, for sure. She makes that so clear. It's about that deep sense of fulfillment, knowing you're living in alignment with your purpose. That's true prosperity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's something everyone can tap into, regardless
Yeah.
of their financial situation, right?
Right. It's about changing our relationship with abundance. It's
Yeah.
not something outside of us. It's who we are.
That's so powerful. Okay, so we've talked about trusting those inner nudges, aligning with our joy. What else can we do to uncover our own personal prosperity formulas?
Well, I think it's important to be open to trying new things, stepping outside of that comfort zone.
Experimenting.
Exactly. It's like we can't expect to find new answers if we're always doing the same old things.
That's so true. So much of this is about challenging those limiting beliefs, those old stories we tell ourselves.
Right. 100%. And remember, it's a process. It's okay to make mistakes.
Oh, for sure. We learn from those failures. They're not really failures at all, just stepping stones.
Exactly. Each one gets us closer to where we're meant to be.
I love that. Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into Martha Guidici and her incredible teachings on prosperity today, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to walk away with?
I want them to remember they have everything they need within them to create a life of abundance, joy, and purpose. They don't need to wait for permission. They are powerful creators.
Yes, and Giudici's given us this incredible roadmap, this fantastic formula, but now it's about taking those principles and making them our own, right?
That's it. It's time to take action, trust the process, and watch the magic unfold.
I love that. It's like claim your power, step into your truth, and create the life you desire.
Yes, and don't forget to have fun along the way.
Absolutely. Because honestly, that's what it's all about, right? Living a joyful, fulfilling life on our own terms.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This has been such a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with me. And to you, our amazing listeners, thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Martha Guidici's wisdom. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Remember, the power to create a life of abundance is within you. Trust your journey, embrace your unique path, and never ever stop believing in the magic that's possible. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those good vibes flowing.